How's it going, guys? Welcome to the bonus episode of Polymuse. Unfortunately, these two tracks that we're covering today are not available on Spotify. They are available on YouTube. We will have links in the description so you can listen along like we always do. Drop the songs in and out. We're going to act like we are dropping the songs in and out because we recorded the podcast earlier. So when we get to those sections, go ahead and just check them out on YouTube if you want to. Love you.
Welcome.
Nope. Not a good welcome. You got a better welcome than that?
I do.
Welcome
to Polymuse, an experience that takes a deep dive through the
dive.
discographies of the artists that changed our lives. I'm Michael, and this is the Cuz.
My name is Ben. I am his cousin.
In each episode, we dive into a couple tracks as we take each album for a spin and break down each project and System of a Down's catalog.
And holy crap, guys, guess what? You are listening to the very first bonus episode of Season 2. We're completionists, okay? We're nerds. We make lists. We're covering every System of a Down song, whether you like it or not. We're doing the B-sides. We're doing the weird soundtrack songs. Any song that came out by System of a Down. Not demos, not live songs, but any real song. Songs featuring System of a Down, even, perhaps.
Yeah.
We'll find out. But
Every real song.
the songs that are not on the albums, we're giving them to you as bonus episodes that premiere in between our normal episodes as they appear. So that's some bonus content for you just because we love you and we love System of a Down.
So today we're tackling Marmalade and Storage, a couple bonus tracks off the Japanese version of the debut self-titled album for System of a Down.
Yeah, got to get those import tracks, trying to get Japanese audience to buy the CD in Japan instead of from America. So they put those extra little bonus tracks on there. It's an agreement that the record labels have had for a long time. Don't know if that's still a relevant marketing strategy, but the idea is that they get a few extra bucks because they buy it locally instead of American. So that's still that era. You got two Japanese bonus tracks on the self-titled. You thought it was over. You thought that the self-titled System of a Down episodes were over. And we got one more. This is the Marmalade and Störagéd episode.
Yes, it is.
As you've stated.
So this is a much more sexual song.
Okay.
System of a Down is not afraid to put sexual elements in their songs, certainly, but this is a much more graphic song lyrically.
We talk about Marmalade here.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
So Marmalade, I guess I haven't really looked at or listened to the lyrics previously. So let me enlighten myself. I kind of just know the riff off the top of my head. But you're telling me that there's some X-rated or some R-rated situations.
So our opening verse, stretching, filling against her skin. Blessed are those who are not kin. In sin we breathe, in sex we tie. Duct tape her legs to the red sky. Fulsome flesh allowances. The pansies raided the pantry of Garbadian dreams. Promiscuous delight, deny not the flavor. So a lot of speculation. It's about prostitution.
Okay.
I take it from, Marmalade, similar to jelly or jam, elements of fruit juices and fruit peels.
So you're
very much
telling
a
me
spread.
It's about a whore named Marmalade.
Could be. But, there's still elements of religion, I think, tied in, whether it's religion and sex or religion and prostitute or opening yourself up or being, maybe torn apart by religion. It's very open to interpretation.
A lot of just offensive words kind of crammed together. A lot of different imagery. Like they put the weird idea in your head. They're just giving you a bunch of weird imagery, and then you think of something weird.
Again, with a weird song title, right? So
Yep.
How does Marmalade fit into this song and what they're trying to, give you here? Because again, they don't stray away from sexual innuendo, but pieces of this are a little bit more graphic, for them, but there's still very much some religious, possibly political undertones to it very much. It's not just a straight, sex song, if you will.
Well, a lot like that first track, Sweet Pea, honestly.
Right.
Where they're mashing together different lyrical ideas like that.
Right, exactly. Again, how do you want to interpret and put the name into there? I kind of think of it as whether you're spreading some kind of evil through sex or sex is evil or a more literal sense of spreading marmalade on an individual. Very open to interpretation again.
You heard it here first, folks, on Polymuse. Sex is evil, and that's what Marmalade's about. Let's hear it.
So hopefully we're able to get the song into the podcast for you. It's blocked in some countries due to certain restrictions, certain streaming restrictions. So
What an obscure song. You'd think they'd at least want every record that they made just all able to be streamed and racking up hits and not, random. Like, I get it's a B-side and they forget about it. But yeah, hopefully you heard that song and hopefully it's still available on Spotify.
yeah, what are your thoughts?
I know why they cut this song. It's so similar to so many other songs we've already gotten so far on this album. The riff is really good. It's really needly and really kind of a cool chugging riff that they didn't exactly do yet. But the bridge sounds exactly like the bridge from War. It's like the same exact breakdown where you can sing the lyrics to each song. It's a good riff, but that's all it is. I don't really like the verse parts. It's just, it doesn't do anything that kind of some of the other album tracks haven't already done. So when you're getting into tracks like Darts and Qbert and stuff, I get why Marmalade was kind of the leftover. But it is a good riff. I'm glad we heard it. Like, any more music that can come out like that, like any other riff that they can carve out and pummel you with, is a good idea. So, I'm glad we got to hear it and got put to record and all that, but there's nothing new about it after you've heard the album.
Yeah, we do have an all right guitar solo. It's okay in the towards the end there, between the chorus and the third verse. Serge does a couple different things vocally, I guess. We have some different tones to his voice a little bit, but again, nothing particularly unique. I kind of like the choppy phrasing a little bit. We don't really have complete sentences. That goes with a little bit of the abstract thinking and writing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like those pieces of it a little bit. Just a couple notes here. So it was the 14th track on the Japanese version.
There you go.
It was 13 tracks in the U.S. release. Also collected in the 2006 Lonely Day EP release, which had a few other miscellaneous tracks on there. We'll be covering that in the bonus track releases here.
Yeah, I think we hit them all.
Yeah, I believe so.
When they did that Lonely Day EP at the end, it was kind of anything that was worth pulling. They missed some songs, obviously, but it was kind of...
They threw a bunch of old stuff.
Yeah. Anything that wasn't really on an album yet. They could have been way more complete about it. And we know that there's more songs that are unreleased. We'll get to that when we talk about Steal This Album and some stuff like that. But we know there's still records left in the vault. But I'm glad we got Marmalade, even though it's not super unique. I still want to hear them playing. I still want to hear if they got another riff, like hit me with another riff, hit me with another jam. I like their style. I just understand why they're like, well, we got plenty of these on this album. Like, that's a leftover.
It's also featured in a movie called Strangeland, which was released in 98. Looks like a really early take on using the internet to pick up people. The IMDb reading is, a detective pursues a sadist specializing in body modification rituals who lures teenagers through the internet. So the trailer looks like he uses early chat rooms to talk to people.
Spooky chat rooms.
Yeah. Kidnaps them to do weird body torture stuff.
Spooky piercings.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The D-list movie that looks like it, I'm not even sure if it quite uses the internet correctly in its portrayal.
But you can use it to kill someone. They don't use it correctly, but they use it to be whatever.
Yeah, so it was featured in that movie.
So that makes sense that Marmalade is a featured. That's cool. System should be in more horror movies, honestly. They're such freaks. Some of the vocals are so freaky. You really could. Like, were any of these in like a Saw movie or something like that? That should have been.
Yeah, we have some other weird movies coming up that didn't do so well. Maybe that's why you didn't watch some of these movies, D-list movies that their songs popped up in.
I've heard of Strangeland, but we are not the expert podcast of D-movie horror movies from the 90s. That's a different podcast that we will do in the future, the podcast where we watch every D-list horror movie from the 90s. But this is the podcast where we listen to every album we've ever heard.
So what is your grade?
I give it a C.
I gave it a B-, just a touch above. Something I might stop and listen to every once in a while. Slightly different lyrical content.
Yeah.
I like that's slightly different, a little weird. So the next track we have here, Storage, was the 15th track on the Japanese album. Much shorter, only a minute 22. This one did appear on Heavy Metal 2000, which was an animated movie, an adult animated movie. I remember seeing the cover of that.
Yeah. So good for System. They're getting these bonus tracks placed in these art movies and horror movies. That's pretty dope. That's a good paycheck for something that's a throwaway song. That's pretty good to get it into a movie that people remember, definitely. Like I said, we're not the movie expert podcast. We're the System of a Down expert podcast, and that's why we're bringing you Störagéd, one of the most obscure System of a Down songs, brought to you on Polymuse Radio. I'm glad we got this one. This is a unique B-side. There's something to this that's not quite in there. You're looking at me strangely.
I am.
Perhaps you didn't have the same reaction to Störagéd.
I just don't think it's particularly unique. It sounds like something that they slapped together at the end of a recording session and just kind of randomly slap something, a phrasing or a sentence or a brief thought, and just kind of slap something together, and that's what this is.
You're right. It's definitely based around the drum pattern. They kind of just had a beat. It's a lot like D-Devil, where it's kind of this punchy, poppy drum beat that they just kind of do a really sparse riff and vocals to. I liked D-Devil a lot. I know you kind of thought it was a joke song and a throwaway song, but that's kind of what I like about it. It's almost a novelty song. Like the amount that it's just based around that drum pattern instead of being based around a vocal hook or something. Like it does feel like it's just a boom, bop, just some jam that they had. Like, oh, we got 5 minutes. Like, let's make a record. But I like novelty songs.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I get that it is a B-side. It is like D-Devil, like we said, like almost just a little bonus track, like knockoff song, like novelty song. But I kind of like it. The lyrics are terrible.
Yeah. The spinal line, the fetus is mine. Don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget.
But I do like the counter revolution, counter revolution. That's pretty cool when he does that.
I mean, that's most of the lyrics. So, I mean, it could be...
So half's terrible and half is a funny phrase.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's about, abortion or abortion of an idea or a revolution and taking an idea or, the birth of an idea in a revolution or there's political tie-in or something like that. It's just a very, very, very abstract thinking.
Very System of a Down. Just random imagery that is related to war, related to religion, related to sex, related to all these different areas that they kind of just put some of them they're making a really important like philosophical or political point. Some of them, about real events, obviously, but some of them it's just words in a blender, and that's just how it is with System of a Down.
You got it might be about nothing.
Yeah, you got songs about fish and bananas, and then man, and who knows how many layers of innuendo we're dealing with on any given and any of this imagery in their whacked out minds. But some of it is not meaningful. Some of it is just like offensive concepts smashed together in a blender. So I give it a B-.
B-? Okay. I D'd it out.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm glad we got it. It's a good little bonus jam, something that's a little different.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes one of us, I guess. So there we go. We'll have another bonus episode coming up here where we'll tackle a take on a cover.
Doing some System of a Down covers. They got a few covers coming up.
They do.
It seems like they did a string of soundtrack appearances between the first and second albums where they got featured on some soundtracks. So that is very exciting. Some of these songs are amazing. If you've never heard some of their bonus songs like this and you've only stuck to like maybe the main albums or the singles or whatever, these bonus episodes are just going to blow you away. For the fans who know these ones, maybe it'll be fun to get a little more spotlight shined on them. And we will see you probably immediately after this because we're dropping a bunch of bonus episodes all in a row as a holiday grab bag for you, the beautiful, wonderful Polymuse listeners at home.
Talk to you.